Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried Median XL before? Have you ever tried games like Path of Exile or Grim Dawn and thought, yeah, this is way too complex for me? My goal with this video and the next few videos after is to quite literally hold your hand from the moment you make your character all the way up to what is considered quote-unquote endgame content in Median XL. This will be the definitive beginner's guide for the game, and I promise if you follow every single step in this video, your life will be so much easier. Before jumping into this video, just as a reminder, I stream daily over on Twitch. I go live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Drop a follow and subscribe over there if you haven't already. Remember that it only takes a few seconds, but subscribing below and leaving a like on this video will get this thing out to as many people as possible. Let's dive in. Let me preface by saying this. If you are a returning player wanting to give Median XL a more serious try this time, or if it's your very first time playing, please do not fall into quote-unquote noob trap specs and characters. This game is extremely difficult and can be extraordinarily overwhelming, and playing characters that don't have a strong starting build will drastically reduce your enjoyment of the game. I understand there are gamers out there that want to do everything their way, and I can't stop you from trying, but I can promise you this. Follow the video and the steps laid out for you, and it will make the game so much more fun to play. I want to start things off by explaining Step 0. This is a brief step, but it can greatly enhance your enjoyment of the game. We will be heading over to the tools section of the Median XL homepage. I will leave any relevant links to anything mentioned in this video down below in the description. Download the D2 stats reader, and if you're choosing to play single player, which I highly recommend, go ahead and grab the Median XL offline tools as well. Go ahead and extract the D2 stats reader to a location on your computer that you like, and then load the program. Keep this program running while you are playing the game. This acts as the loot filter for the game. It won't hide items from showing up if you hold Alt, but you will get notifications on your screen when an item you want drops on the ground. Okay, with that out of the way, it's time for step 1, and it's the most important step: character selection. Obviously, since this is a Diablo 2 mod, there are the 7 classes available to you: Paladin, Barbarian, Assassin, and so on. Every class has a multitude of strong, viable, and fun-to-play builds, but not all of them are as easy as others. There is a massive gap of knowledge in game mechanics, monsters, and gearing that newer players will have zero idea about. You could pick what class you may think you will like, then after bashing your head against a wall for weeks, you may give up out of frustration. Because of this, we will be selecting the Hammer-Zon. The Hammer-Zon in Median XL is an absolute monster of a class and will destroy anything you come up against. You could choose to branch out and play other characters later, but please just stick to the Hammer-Zon for now while you learn the fundamentals of the game first. Now that you are in-game, let's take a minute to look at the inventory. You will notice that you start the game with the Herodric Cube, 4 health potions, and a funny-looking circle called an Emblem of Gold. Go ahead and right-click the emblem to get a starting 1,500 gold, then head over to Akara. Your very first order of business with the Hammer-Zon is to get yourself a socketed scepter. We will be using this as our main weapon, so make sure it's great quality so we can make a rune word in it, which I will cover here in a little bit. Leave and rejoin games to reset her shop until you find one. Step 2, look at your starting skills. In Median XL, every single class has an inherent starting class-specific skill. The Hammer-Zon skill is called Bloodlust. This is a fairly powerful early and late game buff, so go ahead and keybind it to one of your F keys. From here, we start to play the game as normal. Every quest found in Diablo 2 is carbon copy the same in Median XL, so if you're familiar with that, then we won't have any troubles there. The only thing different is you don't technically need to rescue Cain. Reason being, in Median XL, any item you pick up or find is automatically identified, but I can't fault you for wanting to save Grandpa Cain. Step 3, the skill tree. Each class has 8 skill trees, 2 of which are universal amongst all classes. These would be the mastery and reward trees. The mastery tree is the same between all characters, but the reward tree offers 5 unique talents per class to choose from. At the top here, you will see the divine tree. This is the Hammer-Zon's quote-unquote support talent tree. We will be mainly focusing on the storm tree while using the divine tree as supplemental power gains as we level. Step 4 is acquiring a few early game rune words. You can find a link to the Median XL rune page down in the description if you want to look for yourself, but again, I will lay out each rune word and which runes to be on the lookout for you here as well. The rune word for our weapon is called Shark, a simple rune word that only requires an Eld rune to make. This will be our main weapon of choice until a little later on in the game. The second rune word is for our gloves, only requiring you to have an L rune this time. We will be rewarded with Enlightenment, an insanely useful early game rune word, which we will be using for a fair bit of time. The last one you will be looking for is an Ith rune, and we will be making the Epicenter rune word in our boots. This one requires level 18, but more than likely, you will be able to find the rune by then anyway. Do a couple Countess runs in normal, and you will find these runes in no time. As a quick side note, you may notice your gear has these numbers beside them. If you're unfamiliar with this, Median XL has different tiers of the same base items in the game. As you level, you will start to find higher tiers of them, which are better than the previous tier but require more stats. Keep an eye out for higher tier versions of your gear as you level. If you want to know where these stat breakpoints are, you can find a link to the Median XL webpage down in the description where all the base items are listed out. Hey guys, Future Me here. One thing I noticed while editing this video, I forgot to mention this really briefly before moving on. You're only supposed to use the rune words laid out here until you get enough stuff to create and use the tiered uniques covered a little bit later in the video. So if you were wondering if you're supposed to be using both, no, all you do is use the rune words until you get enough stuff to use the tiered uniques, okay? Back to the video. The next big step is knowing where to put your talent points moving forward. Follow these steps point for point. I will be telling you exactly which talent points to spend where and at what level. Your first skill point will be going into Thunder Maiden, the top talent in the Storm Tree. Level 3, your talent point will be going into Hammer-Zon, the second row on the left of the Storm Tree. Levels 4, 5, and 6 will be going into Meditation, which you can find in the Mastery Tree. Level 7, you will put 1 point into Melee Devotion, also found in the Mastery Tree. Level 8, you will put 1 point into Wild and Free, which can be found in the Divine Tree. At level 9, you will put your talent point into Thunder Maiden, and then at level 10, you will acquire Power Shift, found below Hammer-Zon in the Storm Tree. From this point on, you will only be using Power Shift as your primary attack. Reason being is that it deals substantially more single target damage, and the mana cost stays extremely low, allowing you to never have mana issues while leveling. Levels 11 through 24, you will be putting all of your points into Thunder Maiden, putting any extra skill points gained through quests into Wild and Free. As a side note, there is a talent which you unlock at level 10 called Balance, found below Wild and Free in the Divine Tree as well. This gives an enormous amount of flat defense, so at any point if you're feeling squishy, feel free to split points between Wild and Free and Balance. At level 25, you will put 1 point into the middle talent of the Storm Tree called Discharge. This is a 1-point wonder that you only really need to use for boss fights. It's not necessary to keep this up at all times while leveling. Levels 26 through 29 put points into Thunder Maiden again. Then at level 30, you're going to put 1 point into Defensive Harmony, which can be found in the Divine Tree as well. Levels 31 through 39 put enough points into Thunder Maiden to max it out, then divide the rest of your points evenly among Wild and Free and Balance in the Divine Tree. At level 40, you will unlock Reckoning of Zere, found below Power Shift in the Storm Tree. For now, let's move on to the last portion of the video where I will go over the best in slot leveling gear you can use for this spec and how to obtain it. Don't worry, in the next video I will be going over levels 40 through 80 in the talent tree, so just keep an eye out for that one, okay? Step 6, the gear. So I didn't really mention it at the start, but gearing in Median XL can be very intense. There is a lot we could go over, but I'm going to keep it simple. You essentially just want to grab whatever gear you can while leveling to fill in slots if this is your first character. The Hammer-Zon is so inherently powerful that you will not need the best in slot leveling gear to get through the very early stages of the game, trust me. But what I will lay out for you is a way to obtain gear that will last you for the next 50 to 80 levels. These items are extremely strong and will carry you through a great deal of the game at breakneck speeds, all while making you nearly immortal. To start this process off, we need to get the base items which we will be using. You can find a link down in the description of the video with the full set of gear we will be looking to obtain. Head over to your favorite gambling vendor and pull up the filter. This is a function in game that will let you highlight items you selected in the filter while gambling, making it much easier to find what you're looking for. After you have set up your filter with these 7 items, go ahead and start hammering the refresh button. We will be looking for tier 1 items since they require the lowest level and stats to use. Once you've acquired the 7 base items, we need to obtain an item called an arcane crystal. These items can be obtained by disenchanting unique items in the game. The way you disenchant items here in Median XL is simple. You put the item in the cube along with your catalyst of disenchantment and cube them together. You did remember to grab your catalyst, didn't you? No worries if you didn't, just head back to Andariel in Act 1 and kill her again. She will drop it for you. But don't forget it this time, okay? This is where I need to put a disclaimer. If you are someone who doesn't want to spend time killing the same monster over and over, skip this part altogether. Although I heavily advised against skipping this step. Step 7, we will be killing Mephisto in normal. A lot, and I really do mean a lot. But I promise if you spend the time here now, you will save yourself hours and hours of time later on, okay? Long story short, in Median XL, Mephisto on normal is guaranteed to drop 2 unique items every kill. We are looking to accumulate enough arcane crystals to not only create the unique gear we will be using, but also have enough to upgrade them. If what I just said sounds like alien garbage to you, don't stress, let me explain. In my last video on Median XL, I very briefly explained the tiered unique system. In this game, there is a cube recipe that allows you to actually make items into unique, turning the base items into them by using this recipe. The recipe is simple to follow. To turn an item into the unique version of that base, you will need to put 2 arcane crystals, the base item, and an oil of enhancement, which can be bought at various vendors in town. You cube these all together and voila, you get yourself the unique you are looking for. The next recipe is even simpler. To upgrade, aka make the unique a better version of itself, simply put the item into the cube with an arcane crystal and cube them together. Warning, by doing the upgrade recipe, it will automatically destroy any gems, runes, or jewels that are in your items. Before upgrading any item, cube it together with an oil of disjunction, which can also be found at various vendors to remove any socketed items. Make sure to check the Median XL tiered uniques page to see if you're high enough level and have enough stats to use the newly upgraded item before you go through with the recipe. This cannot be reversed, so please be cautious. If you're wanting just for reference later, you will need a total of 35 arcane crystals to create and upgrade all these uniques to their highest tier. If you happen to find a few of the unique items while killing Mephisto that you need, this can save you a whole bunch of time here as well. So let's go ahead and wrap up the video here, guys. There is a lot of information in this video, so if you need, please go back and re-watch it as many times as you need. I promise if you follow this video step by step, this will set you up for success to really push yourself towards the end game, which is where the game really takes off. And with that, this video is done. Subscribe below for more content. I will see you in the next one. Peace! Before you head out, if you're looking for more videos to watch, why not click on these? I got lots of videos to choose from, so stick around a little while and check them out.